The Great Bible, Exodus, the 35th chapter. The Sabbath, the first fruits are required. The readiness of the people to offer. Bezaleel and Aholiab are praised of Moses and set to work. The 35th chapter. And Moses gathered all the company of the children of Israel together, and said unto them, These are the words which the Lord hath commanded that ye should do them. 6 days ye shall work, but the 7th day shall be unto you the holy Sabbath of the Lord's rest. Whosoever doth any work therein shall die. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout all your habitations upon the Sabbath day. And Moses spake unto all the multitude of the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing which the Lord commanded, saying, Take from among you an heave offering unto the Lord. Whosoever is of a willing heart, let him bring it for the heave offering of the Lord, namely gold, silver, and brass, and yellow silk, purple, scarlet, white silk, goat's hair, and ram's skins red, and taxus skins with setim wood, oil for light, and spices for the anointing oil, and for the sweet scents, and onyx stones, and stones to be set in the ephod, and in the breastlap. And let all them that are wise-hearted among you come and make all that the Lord hath commanded, the habitation with the tent thereof, and his covering, and his rings, and his boards, his bars, his pillars, and his sockets, the ark and the staves thereof, with the mercy seat and the veil that covereth it, the table and his bars, and all his vessels, and the showbread, the candlestick of light, and his apparel, and his lamps with the oil for the light, the cense altar and his bars, the anointing oil and the sweet scents, and the hanging of the door at the entering in of the tabernacle, the altar of burnt sacrifice with his brazen gridiron, his staves, and all his vessels, the laver and his foot, and the hangings of the court with his pillars and their sockets, and the hanging in the door of the court, the pins of the habitation, and the pins of the court with their cords, the ministering garments to minister in the holy place, and the holy vestments for Aaron the priest, and the vestments of his sons, that they may minister him. And all the company of the children of Israel departed from the presence of Moses, and every one came, as many as their hearts couraged them, and as many as their spirits made them willing, and brought a present for the Lord, to the making of the tabernacle of witness, and for all his uses, and for the holy vestments. And they came, both men and women, even as many as were willing-hearted, and brought bracelets, and earrings, rings, and chains, which jewels were all of gold. And all the men brought a wave offering of gold unto the Lord. And every man with whom was found yellow silk, purple, scarlet, white silk, and goat's hair, and red skins of rams, and taxus skins, brought them. All that did heave up an oblation of gold and brass, and brought an heave offering unto the Lord. All men with whom was found setim wood for any manner work of the ministration brought it. And all the women that were wise-hearted did spin with their hands, and brought the spun work both of yellow silk, purple, scarlet, and white silk. And all the women whom their own heart moved spun goat's hair wisely. And the Lord brought onyx stones, and stones to be set in the ephod, and in the breastlap, and spice and oil for light, and for the anointing oil, and for the sweet scents. And the children of Israel brought a willing offering unto the Lord, both men and women, as many as had willing hearts to bring, for all manner works which the Lord had commanded to be made by the hands of Moses. And Moses said unto the children of Israel, Behold, the Lord hath called by name Bezaleel the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and hath filled him with the Spirit of God, in wisdom and understanding, in knowledge, and in all manner work, to find out curious works which are made in gold, silver, and brass, in the craft of stones to set them, and in carving of wood to make any manner of subtle work. And he hath put in his heart that he may teach, both he and Aholiab the son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan. Them hath he filled with wisdom of heart, to work all manner of graven and subtle, and needlework in yellow silk and purple, in scarlet and white silk, and in weaving, and to do all manner of work and subtle feats. The 36th chapter. The things that Bezaleel and Aholiab made. The 36th chapter. And Bezaleel wrought, and Aholiab, and all wise-hearted men, to whom the Lord gave wisdom and understanding, to know how to work all manner work for the service of the sanctuary, and all that the Lord had commanded. And Moses called Bezaleel, Aholiab, and all the wise-hearted men, and such as the Lord had given wisdom unto, and as many as their hearts couraged to come unto that work to work it. And they received of Moses all the present which the children of Israel had brought for the work of the service of the sanctuary, to make it. And beside that they brought gifts unto it every day in the morning. And all the wise men that wrought all the holy work came every man from his work which they made, and spake unto Moses, saying, The people bring too much, and more than enough, for the service and work which the Lord hath commanded to be made. And then Moses gave a commandment, and they caused it to be proclaimed throughout the host, saying, See that neither man nor woman prepare any more work for the present of the sanctuary. And so the people were forbidden to bring, for the stuff they had was sufficient for all the work, to make it, and too much. All the wise-hearted men, therefore, and they that wrought for the habitation, made 10 curtains of white twined silk, yellow silk, purple, and scarlet. With pictures of broidered work made he them. The length of one curtain was 28 cubits, and the breadth 4, and the curtains were all of one size. And he coupled 5 curtains by themselves, and other 5 by themselves. And he made loops of yellow silk along by the edge of one curtain, even in the selvage of the coupling curtain. And likewise he made on the side of the coupling curtain on the other side. 50 loops made he in the one curtain, and 50 in the edge of the coupling curtain on the other side. And the loops held one curtain to another. And he made 50 rings of gold, and coupled the curtains one to another with the rings, and so was it made one dwelling place. And he made 11 curtains of goat's hair to be a tent over the tabernacle. The length of a curtain had 30 cubits, and was 4 cubits broad, and they all 11 of one size. And he coupled 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 by themselves. And he made 50 loops along by the border of the utmost coupling curtain, and 50 in the edge of the other coupling curtain, that they might be joined together. And he made 50 rings of brass to couple the tent together, that it might be one. And he made a covering upon the tent of ram's skins red, and yet another of taxus skins above that. And he made standing boards for the tabernacle of setim wood. The length of a board was 10 cubits, the breadth 1 cubit and a half. One board had 2 feet, whereby they were joined one to another. And thus made he for all the boards of the tabernacle. And he made 20 boards for the south side of the habitation, and 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for his 2 feet, where the sockets of the sides end in the corners. And for the other side of the dwelling, which is toward the north, he made 20 boards, and their 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board. And toward the west end of the tabernacle, that is to say, at that end of the tabernacle, which inclineth toward the sea, he made 6 boards, and 2 other boards made he in the corners of the habitation for either side, and they were joined close beneath, and above with a clamp, and thus they did to both the corners. And there were 8 boards and 16 sockets of silver, under every board 2 sockets. And he made bars of setim wood, 5 for the boards of the tabernacle in the one side, and 5 for the boards of the tabernacle in the other side, and 5 bars for the boards of the habitation in the west end toward the sea. And he made the midst bar to shoot through the boards, even from the one end to the other, and overlaid the boards with gold, and made rings of gold to thrust the bars through, and covered the bars with gold. And he made an hanging of yellow silk, purple, scarlet, and white twined silk, even with pictures made he of broidered work, and made thereunto 4 pillars of setim wood, and overlaid them with gold. Their knops were also of gold, and he cast for them 4 sockets of silver. And he made an hanging for the tabernacle door, of yellow silk, purple, scarlet, and white twined silk of needlework, and the 5 pillars of it with their knops, and overlaid the knops of them and the hoops with gold. Their 5 sockets also were of brass. The 37th chapter. The Ark of Witness, the mercy seat, the table, the candlestick, the lights, the altar, and the incense. The 37th chapter. And Bezaleel made the Ark of setim wood, 2 cubits and a half long, and a cubit and a half broad, and a cubit and a half high, and overlaid it with fine gold within and without, and made a crown of gold to it round about, and cast for it 4 rings of gold for the 4 corners of it, 2 rings for the one side, and 2 for the other, and made bars of setim wood, and covered them with gold, and put the bars in the rings along by the side of the ark, to bear it withal. And he made the mercy seat, that is to say, God's answering place, of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half was the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth. And he made 2 cherubims of thick gold upon the 2 ends of the mercy seat, 1 cherub on the one end, and another cherub on the other end. Even of the mercy seat made he the cherubims, namely in the ends thereof. And the cherubims spread out their wings above on high, and covered the mercy seat therewith. And their faces were one to another, even to the mercy seat ward were the faces of the cherubims. And he made the table of setim wood, 2 cubits was the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth, and a cubit and a half the height of it. And he overlaid it with fine gold, and made thereto a crown of gold round about, and made thereto an hoop of an handbreadth round about, and made upon the hoop a crown of gold round about, and cast for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that were in the 4 feet thereof. Even hard by the hoop were the rings, into the which the bars were put, to bear the table withal. And he made the bars of setim wood, and covered them with gold to bear the table withal, and made the vessels for the table of pure gold, the dishes, spoons, flat pieces, and pots to pour withal. And he made the candlestick of pure gold, even of 1 piece made he the candlestick, for his foot, his shaft, his cups, his knops, and his flowers were of 1 piece. 6 branches proceeding out of the sides thereof, 3 out of the one side, and 3 out of the other. And in 1 branch 3 cups made like unto almonds, with knops and flowers. And in another branch 3 cups made like almonds, with knops and flowers. And so throughout the 6 branches that proceeded out of the candlestick. And upon the candlestick self were 4 cups after the fashion of almonds, with knops and flowers, under every 2 branches a knop. And the knops and the branches proceeded out of it, and it was all 1 piece of pure thick gold. And he made his 7 lamps, with the tongues and snuffers thereof, of pure gold. Even of 100 weight of pure gold made he it with all the vessels thereof. And he made the cense altar of setim wood. The length of it was a cubit, and the breadth a cubit, for it was 4 square and 2 cubits high, with horns proceeding out of it. And he covered it with pure gold, both the top and the sides thereof round about, and the horns of it, and made unto it a crown of gold round about. And he made 2 rings of gold for it, even under the crown thereof in the 2 corners of it, and in the 2 sides thereof to put bars in, for to bear it withal, and made the bars of setim wood, and overlaid them with gold. And he made the holy anointing oil, and the sweet pure incense after the apothecary's craft. The 38th chapter. The altar of burnt offering, the brazen laver, the sum of that the people offered. The 38th chapter. And he made the burnt offering altar of setim wood. 5 cubits was the length thereof, and 5 cubits the breadth, even 4 square, and 3 cubits high. And he made unto it horns in the 4 corners of it, proceeding out of it, and he overlaid it with brass. And he made all the vessels of the altar, the cauldrons, shovels, basins, flesh hooks, and coal pans. All the vessels thereof made he of brass. And he made a brazen gridiron of network unto the altar, round about, aloe beneath unto the midst of the altar, and cast 4 rings of brass for the 4 ends of the gridiron to put bars in. And he made the bars of setim wood, and covered them with brass, and put the bars into the rings in the 4 corners of the altar, to bear it withal, and made the altar hollow within the boards. And he made the laver of brass, and the foot of it also of brass, in the sight of them that did watch at the door of the tabernacle of witness. And he made the court on the south side, and the hangings of the court were of white twined silk, having 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their brazen sockets 20. But the knops of the pillars and their hoops were of silver. And on the north side the hangings were 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their sockets of brass 20. But the knops and the hoops of the pillars were of silver. On the west side were hangings of 50 cubits, 10 pillars and their 10 sockets of brass. But the knops and the hoops of the pillars were of silver. And towards the east side were hangings of 50 cubits. The hangings of the one side of the gate were 15 cubits long, with 3 pillars and 3 sockets. And of the other side of the court gate were hangings also of 15 cubits long, with 3 pillars and 3 sockets. All the hangings of the court round about were of white twined silk, but the sockets of the pillars were of brass, and the knops and the hoops of the pillars were of silver, and the covering of the heads was of silver, and all the pillars of the court were hooped about with silver. And the hanging of the gate of the court was needlework of yellow silk, purple, scarlet, and white twined silk, 20 cubits long, and 5 in the breadth, over against the hangings of the court. And their pillars were 4, and their 4 sockets of brass, and the knops of silver, and the heads overlaid with silver, and hooped about with silver. And all the pins of the tabernacle and of the court round about were of brass. This is the sum of the habitation of witness, as it was counted according to the commandment of Moses, for the office of the Levites by the hand of Ithamar, son to Aaron the priest. And Bezaleel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that the Lord commanded Moses. And with him was Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, a cunning graver, and a worker of needlework in yellow silk, purple, scarlet, and white twined silk. All the gold that was occupied for all the work of the holy place was the gold of the wave offering, even 2,900 weight, and 730 sickles, according to the sickle of the sanctuary. And the sum of silver that came of the multitude was 65 weight, and 1,775 sickles after the sickle of the sanctuary. For every man an half weight, even half a sickle after the sickle of the sanctuary. For all them that went to be numbered from 20 years old and above, even for 600,000 and 3,550 men. And of the 65 weight of silver were cast the sockets of the sanctuary, and the sockets of the veil, and 100 sockets of the 65 weight, and 100 weight to every socket. And of the 1,775 sickles he made knops to the pillars, and overlaid the heads and hooped them with silver. And the brass of the wave offering was 700 weight, and 2,400 sickles. And therewith he made the sockets to the door of the tabernacle of witness, and the brazen altar, and the brazen gridiron for it, with all the vessels of the altar, and the sockets of the court round about, and the sockets for the court gate, and all the pins of the habitation, and all the pins of the court round about. The 39th chapter. The apparel of Aaron and his sons. All that the Lord commanded was offered. The 39th chapter. And of the yellow silk, purple, and scarlet, they made the vestments of ministration to do service in the holy place, and made the holy garments for Aaron, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he made the ephod of gold, yellow silk, purple, scarlet, and white twined silk. And they did beat the gold into thin plates, and cut it into wires, to work it in the yellow silk, purple, scarlet, and in the fine white, with broidered work. And they made 2 sides for it, to close them up by the 2 edges. And the broidering of the girdle that was upon it was of the same stuff, and after the same work, of gold, yellow silk, purple, scarlet, and twined white silk, as the Lord commanded Moses. And they wrought onyx stones, closed in ouches of gold, and graved as signets are graven, with the names of the children of Israel, and put them on the shoulders of the ephod, that they should be stones for a remembrance of the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he made the breastlap of cunning work, and like the work of the ephod, even of gold, yellow silk, purple, scarlet, and twined white silk. It was 4 square, and they made the breastlap double and handbreadth long, and an handbreadth broad, and they filled it with 4 rows of stones. The first row, a sardius, a topaz, and a smaragdus. The second row, a ruby, a sapphire, and a diamond. In the third row, ligurios, an akkat, and an amethyst. In the fourth row, a turquoise, and onyx, and a jaspis. And they were closed in ouches of gold in their enclosures. And the 12 stones were graven as signets with the names of the children of Israel, every stone with his name, according to the 12 tribes. And they made upon the breastlap 2 fastening chains of wreathen work and pure gold. And they made 2 hooks of gold, and 2 gold rings, and put the 2 rings in the 2 corners of the breastlap. And they put the 2 chains of gold in the 2 rings, in the corners of the breastlap. And the 2 ends of the 2 chains they fastened in the 2 hooks, and put them on the shoulders of the ephod upon the forefront of it. And they made 2 rings of gold, and put them on the 2 corners of the breastlap, upon the edge of it, which was on the inside by the ephod. And they made 2 golden rings, and put them on the 2 sides of the ephod, beneath on the foreside of it, and over against his fellow, above upon the broidering of the ephod. And they strained the breastlap by his rings unto the rings of the ephod, with a lace of yellow silk, that it might be upon the broidering of the ephod, and that the breastlap should not be loosed from off the ephod, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he made the tunicle unto the ephod of woven work, altogether of yellow silk, and there was an hole in the midst of the tunicle, as the collar of a partlet, with a bond round about the collar, that it should not rent. And in the tunicle they made hems with pomegranates of yellow silk, purple, scarlet, and white twined silk. And they made little bells of pure gold, and put them among the pomegranates round about upon the edge of the tunicle, a bell and a pomegranate round about the hems of the tunicle to minister in, as the Lord commanded Moses. And they made coats of fine white, of woven work, for Aaron and his sons, and a mitre of fine white, and goodly bonnets of fine white, and linen breeches of twined white, and a girdle of twined white, yellow silk, purple, and scarlet, even of needlework, as the Lord commanded Moses. And they made the plate for the holy crown of fine gold, and wrote upon it with graven work, the holiness of the Lord, and tied unto it a lace of yellow silk to fasten it on high upon the mitre, as the Lord commanded Moses. Thus was all the work of the habitation and of the tabernacle of witness finished. And the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord had commanded Moses. Even so did they. And they brought the habitation unto Moses, the tent and all his apparel, buttons, boards, bars, pillars, and sockets, the covering of ram's skins red, and the covering of taxus skins, and the hanging veil, the ark of witness, and the bars thereof, and the mercy seat, the table, and all the vessels thereof, and the showbread, the pure candlestick, with the lamps thereof, even with the lamps to be prepared, and all the vessels thereof, and the oil for light, the golden altar, and the anointing oil, and the sweet scents, and the hanging of the tabernacle door, and the brazen altar with his gridiron of brass, his bars and all his vessels, the laver and his foot, the hangings of the court with his pillars and sockets, the hanging to the court gate, and his pins and cords, and all the vessels of the service of the habitation for the tabernacle of witness, the ministering vestments to serve in the holy place, and the holy vestments for Aaron the priest, and his sons' raiments to minister in, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. Even so, the children of Israel made all the work. And Moses beheld all the work, and see, they had done it even as the Lord commanded. Even so had they done, and Moses blessed them.